Yo, what up? This is D Knight, and you're listening to the Pardon the Interaction podcast. My oh my, we've had so much going on. For starters, in case you missed it, we've got a new addition to the Pardon Pie family, Tara Dublin. Make sure you go follow her on Twitter at Tara Dublin Rocks. Also, pick up a copy of her book while you're at it. Make her day, The Sound of Settling. A very fun and interesting read compared to the things we talk about on this podcast. But yeah, we're heading toward the do or die time for the 2024 election. Go ahead and hit up JoeBiden.com. Get that man like $1 a month or something. Help his campaign staff up and get prepared to try and save our democracy. And make sure to grab like one other person you know and tell them about the podcast. Make sure they subscribe and tune in every single week. We got a lot of things coming up for you this year. We need all the support that we can get. So if you do your part and help us grow our audience, we'll do our part and help elect Joe Biden in 2024 and save American democracy. And this is the Pardon the Interaction podcast. Hey, this is D Knight.
This is Carol.
This is Ty.
And you're listening to the Pardon the Interaction podcast. Even though this is a new episode,
this is definitely a new episode on a different time. How are you guys doing? Wink, wink.
We're just picking up where we left off because Carol was high and had the munchies. So
Ty went on a rant. Carol was stoned.
Yeah, and I was
hungry.
And I was ordering dinner on Uber Eats because, those things happen. But before we get to the news of the day.
Oh, sure. But when D is hungry, he's just hungry. But when I'm hungry, I'm stoned.
Well, Carol, if I was stoned and hungry, I'd be like, well, I too had the munchies, but I'm, totally sober. Even though I'm such a dumbass, you might not be able to tell between whether or not I'm intoxicated or using some kind of substance. But yeah. So anyway, also, again, we finally got our sheets from Colin from Sheets and Giggles. Pat yourself on the back, sir. It only took you like a month and a half of sponsoring the podcast before we got our sheets. But luckily for you, sir, they were fucking amazing. And I highly recommend you pick up a set of sheets from Sheets and Giggles. Maybe one day Colin will give us a promo code so you can get a discount. Colin, if you're listening, get on that. We also had an idea for like Ty to model their gear, like the t-shirts and whatnot. On the Instagram, we're going to call that.
Well, I'm going to have to change that to OnlyFans because I'm going to need some money.
Oh, well, Ty is gifted in the chesticle area, and we were going to entitle that campaign Teats and Giggles.
Teats and Ty's Teats and Giggles. Ty Teats and Giggles.
It wasn't even my idea. It was this.
No, but I was like, because I've been so stressed, I lost a lot of weight and my boobs shrank a little bit. Look,
yeah, now they're only ginormous. So it wasn't like before you accuse me of like sexualizing my co-host. This was Ty's idea. Like I didn't even come up with this. She was like, "I'll do it." I was like, "Okay, I guess."
I hadn't eaten in days, and I had like a tiny piece of pizza.
Okay, now now the listeners are heartbroken. They're like, "Damn, Ty,
no,
what was
don't
wrong?
be heartbroken.
Like, why are you not eating for days?"
Pardon, pod listeners.
She's not. Ty doesn't have an eating disorder. She was going through some personal situations with work and whatnot.
Did you guys know that Patty Lupone was going to be on our show tonight? Wow, that was beautiful, Patty. You don't have to get it, D. I thought you were a musical theater nerd.
What I was thinking is that, like, Colin, if he's listening to this, is like, you guys, like, this is why you're getting paid in sheets and not instead of money.
And giggles.
We have lots of giggles.
Carol, we provide the giggles.
Thank you, Colin. We are so grateful.
But yes,
the sheets are awesome. The merch is awesome. Can't wait to rock it.
Yeah.
Can't wait to send
Teats and Giggles
your way.
Tiggles, if you listen to the Lebitard Show podcast. And again, look, we've been making fun of these sheets for like a month, and now that they're here, they really are great.
So they waiting for them to appear on my bed.
When
Colin did not offer that service apparently.
No,
my bed is a laundry hamper right now, but now that I have lots of free time, I'm gonna go through And I need to go and take all of the clothes we have. I mean, I've got 6 people in my household.
Wow.
The laundry is fucking ridiculous. Every day, like it's, oof.
Yeah, you have
But
to do
I need to go
laundry
through
hourly.
and take
like a hotel.
take stuff to Goodwill. That I want to just kind of get rid of some of the clutter and everything. Did I tell you guys about the house I saw in rural New Mexico? And the property I really liked, like I saw the potential in it. And aside from all of the Jesus memorabilia inside that the owners had, it was in the red shag carpet and the burgundy.
Was it what we called when we were looking for houses? We called it too Italian.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. That's it.
Like lots of statues outside in the garden.
Statues, pictures of Jesus inside, all over the place, and the incense smell. Ooh, Lord, was there, and the maroon shag carpet in the bedrooms. That was a sight. But those are all things that you can deal with over time. So I'm hoping that we can, work something out with that one. Because like when I was going back from there, it didn't take me as long as it took me to get there. Because of course you don't know where you're going. It always seems like longer. But I was like, oh shit, I got here in 15 minutes, like to civilization. So, but it kind of grew on me. And I was like, and it's in a neighborhood that I don't have to, and it's sad to say, like with all of like the racism and stuff. And like I said, I live in this MAGA hood. Now I'm like,
you don't even call it a neighborhood. It's a MAGA hood.
MAGA hood. But now I'm like, oh, I like this house. But then I'm like, oh, but what are the neighbors like? If I moved there, like, would Chrissy be able to ride his skateboard or kick his soccer ball or go with it? Those are things that are pressing in my mind now. Like, those are things that I have to think about now.
Well, girl, I live in Tennessee. Like every other person you run into voted for Trump, and you might never know it. So I don't.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So those are that I'm like, damn. Where is it? Like, is it going to be safe? Because I don't want to move somewhere where the neighbors are going to make it uncomfortable, and it doesn't feel like we're at our own home.
Well, you don't want to get to the point where if your son knocks on the wrong door, rings the wrong doorbell, he's going to get shot in the head.
Chris used to fucking be a Boy Scout, and they used to sell that high-ass popcorn, and he wants to play soccer. He loves to play soccer. And I go, well, what if he's raising money? I had a girl and her mother come to the house, ring the doorbell, and, I don't get company out here. And so I'm like, who this, whatever. And she was selling chocolates and raising money for something. And so I bought a couple of bars, and that was that. But I'm like, would my son be given that same grace if he was going door to door, like selling chocolates to raise money for the soccer team to go on a trip or something? Like, that's now something that I have to think about, and it's anxiety. Like, it's a high anxiety place to be, especially like as a mom. And, I've got my lesbian daughter and who protested Matt Walsh. I'm so proud of her. She was out there yelling. She had her sign and she was screaming, and she was out and her trans friend.
Yeah. Pardon the Insurrection podcast supports the idea. Fuck Matt Walsh.
Yes, we do. Fuck Matt Walsh. And I got in because they were banned. When I showed up, I go, well, let me see if I can get in. So I showed up and I smile, and I guess I'm cute. So
you didn't have your press credentials?
They were so
I just want to throw it in real quick, which I always say. If my coworker Matt is listening, we're not talking about you.
Oh, is this
we're good.
You have a coworker named Matt
There are
Walsh?
a lot of Matt Walshes.
There are plenty of them. We're talking about the one specific fucking terrible one, and you know which one it is. So Todd, you flashed your Teats and Giggles to get in?
I was able to get in. I got my wristband, and they were like, and I go in, and the guy goes, let me get you a seat in the front row. Now I'm thinking that he wanted me in the front row for optics, so they could see the Black person.
They could say they have.
Because why the fuck would they want to put me in the front row?
You were the token.
Because I'm like, I'm nobody. I just showed up and I'm like, hey, I'm here. Do I need to pay to get in? They're like, no, here's your wristband.
Okay, let me tell you what happened, Ty. You know how, like, when Trump holds these rallies all across the nation,
Black people behind.
wait, yeah, and then they have like the camera focused in on Trump, is like really zoomed in, so you can't see the crowd behind him, but you can see like 8 people, but like there's 4 people behind him who are black, and they're wearing the Blacks for Trump t-shirts.
Blacks for Trump. Yeah,
and it's the same people every time. You were them.
Yeah.
Did they make you wear a shirt?
They would have given you one.
We got you a special VIP seat. Just
Matt Walsh also, he had all the seats were really pushed back. Like nobody could get close to the stage.
Yeah.
Nobody looks at Matt Walsh in the eyes.
After
Doesn't he have like a security detail or something too?
there were secure after his vitriol, and then they were like, "Oh, we'll take questions." So people got up, and the trans woman, the EMT that he tried to shade by just putting like a few minutes of an interaction. Well, I had filmed the whole thing because I was trying to wait in line, so I'm filming the people talking to him, and so that's when I was like, "Dude, she owned you." I was there, Matty boy, but literally 2 people out of the entire crowd stood up and had anything positive to say to him. And it was really just one girl that just, thank you for coming here. Please show us how to implement these policies here. And another was some guy dressed like fucking Poindexter that was like,
these are probably Matt Walsh's friends.
Probably, because everyone else has spoke, and then he goes, "Oh yeah, no more."
No, yeah. So he had his plants in the crowd to be like, "Oh, that one, that one." Yeah, of course not, because you would have like reamed his ass, and he can't be out here getting embarrassed and shit.
He was, and I record that motherfucker. He is so disgusting. But it was amazing to be outside with my daughter and to see her so involved, because NMSU is a really inclusive campus. And when I was looking for where the event was, when I went inside, I ran into this coach. And I go, "Hey, I'm looking for the Matt Wall, whatever this." And she goes, "Oh, if you go," I go, "Well, my daughter is here and she's protesting," and she had just come from the LGBTQ center, and she's LGBTQ herself, and so they're very.
Aren't we all just a little?
We are just a little. And Tori she's a part of the gay animes. She's a part of Aggie Gays, is what they call it, is the LGBTQ group, and that's where she's found her tribe, and she's really come into her own since being there, and she's found her purpose and her focus, and just seeing her out there.
Yeah, and the Matt Walshes of the world want to crush that experience for people. They don't want people to find their tribe.
They don't, and she's become so outspoken, and I'm extremely proud of her for.
Me
and
too.
It's so crazy because Matt Walsh was there doing his Holocaust denying anti-LGBTQ.
Oh, Jesus.
A week after Esther Bash was there talking about her experience in the fucking Holocaust. And I get it.
Maybe we need to do a Holocaust on Matt Walsh. How about that?
But I don't advocate violence.
Okay, I'm sorry. I want to get sued for threatening.
I just spit my own faith. Well, Elon is...
You guys couldn't see, but I was just giving him a
look. All right.
Well, look, like
we'll do an emotional Holocaust on Matt Walsh. How about that?
Elon is already like perma-banning people who go after Walsh. So thankfully it's now, not when I was like tagging him and like really going hard after him.
Yeah, well, the fucking dipshit spent $44 billion to I don't play Mall Monitor. Have I been drinking Hall Monitor for his fucking loser ass friends?
He's a mall hunter.
Mall hunter. I can't. English is hard. Okay, let's get back to the news of the week. Thank you for that fun detour into the life of and Ty, as well as your experience at the Matt Walsh shit show. That was fuck Matt Walsh. From the bottom of our hearts. So one of the things going on or a recent development in Jack Smith's investigation of Trump, well, I would like to call it the curious case of Dora the Explorer. Not necessarily because Trump watches the show, although it's entirely possible. Like who knows?
He doesn't know those 3 words of Spanish.
No, just if you're unfamiliar with Dora the
Where
Explorer,
are we going? Prison. Where are we going? Prison.
All right. Well, there's this. I don't know. I'm not even super familiar with Dora the Explorer, but she's the little Hispanic girl who travels across the world and has wacky adventures. And one of her cohorts who travels along with her is a map, and he sings this.
I'm the map. I'm the map, 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 I'm the map.
On the map. All right, we're losers, but yeah. So anyway, as that pertains to Trump, there's multiple witnesses appearing before special counsel in his grand jury were asked whether Trump showed them a map containing classified information that he took from the White House when he left.
And most people haven't even heard of this country, but I know all about it. Sorry, go on.
Okay, investigators appear to believe that Trump showed the map to at least one advisor after leaving office based on their questions, and that he may also have shown it to a journalist writing a book. Imagine being the only president in the world to go to prison for leaking to Bob Woodward. Investigators have also asked whether Trump mentioned the Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman Mark Milley, and whether donors were ever part of discussions about the material, according to that report. And last year, do y'all remember the Rolling Stone article where Kid Rock was featured prominently? No,
not really. I tune him out.
Where he was like, we were looking at maps and shit, and I'm like, am I supposed to be in on this?
He wrote that?
Yeah, when they interviewed him for the article.
We were looking at maps.
When Trump was
was I supposed to be in on this? He said that. Okay, got it.
Yeah, and he was talking about like Trump was asking him for advice on how to deal with North Korea and shit.
Oh my God. And he still looks up to this man? I mean, I guess you have to be truly delusional to like be like, this is me. I don't think I should be in on these meetings, and I'm a musician and country music rapper or whatever. But I guess he must know that I'm a genius, and therefore I know he's a genius, and I'm going to vote for him and stop drinking beer.
Trump was asking Kid Rock. He was asking Kid Rock for advice on how to avoid nuclear war with North Korea.
And Kid Rock really dragged out the introduction section of every meeting. We're like, yes, but we know what your name is. Never mind.
Kid Rock is such a. I don't know what the hell he's going through.
Some things,
but he wasn't like this. Like years ago,
drugs take a toll.
And I'm not gonna lie. I mean, picture.
No, I don't even want to. No, we're not even letting you go in there. Go there. We're saving you from yourself. But yeah, no. So Jack Smith's investigation has gone from case about the retention of classified documents unlawfully to a case about disclosure. So, it doesn't seem like a huge development, but it's a massive one. Like it's so look, people listening to this podcast, you're not going to like this, probably not going to agree with me, but if Trump had just turned over the classified documents, when the GSA or whoever asked, like initially, like Trump wouldn't be facing charges. This investigation would be over. Yeah, there would probably have been some kind of counterintelligence investigation just to assess the potential damages had any of this information been leaked. But Trump would have gotten off. The fact that he held on to these documents long after they were subpoenaed and then tried to obstruct the FBI from getting the documents back, that's what's led to the possibility of criminal charges for Trump. But that's just the retention and obstruction. Like if he showed these documents to people who do not have the security clearances to be able to view them, that's fucking espionage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it is. And honestly, what I was thinking about today was all of these security breaches that we have right now, all of the spying and things, I don't feel like it's coincidental. Like, okay, the China, Russia, Iran, whatever, they're other world superpowers. They're going to do what they do. They have interests outside of the United States.
Right.
But all of this culminating, like the culmination of everything, and then looking at where things are now as far as our national security, I honestly think that it's because he gave them the intel. And now they're pouncing, period. I mean, that's just my...
I mean, we don't know. I mean, the problem is like Mar-a-Lago is such a counterintelligence disaster just from the amount of foreigners he has there, and like the place is just totally unsecured. I mean, just having such a massive tranche of classified information there is just
so
dumb.
Do we have any idea what the maps were? So like fucking,
well,
it like Putin's position in around Ukraine in late 2020? No, plans.
That's the thing. So if the map contains classified information, like we probably should know the specific contents of the map. I mean, it could be anything. Like even if it was just a map of like say CIA safe houses across, in a region or in a city, like that's potentially harmful. Like that's information that our adversaries could use against us, or they could use to track spies, or use to track our agents overseas. Who knows? The problem is it's fucking bad business to be sharing this information with people who are not only like not qualified to be handling the information, but who could potentially be subject to, I don't know, foreign pressures. We don't know who the fuck he was showing these papers to. Like it could be literally anyone off the street, which means it could be a fucking spy. Who knows with that guy? But speaking of espionage, according to a probable cause affidavit until last Friday, an individual by the name of Jack Teixeira gained access to national defense information and other classified documents as part of his job in cyber defense operations with the Air fucking National Guard. Yeah. He then took that information and posted on a popular social media message board called Discord, if you're not familiar with that. Oh, in a chat room that he was the presumed leader of, the name of that room being, quote, Thug Shaker, unquote.
Thug Shaker Central. And his name was Jack Dripper.
The affidavit also... just the name of that. I mean, look, these are young individuals, but like, my God, kids, come on. I sound like an old man. The affidavit also lays out that he had signed a quote lifetime binding non-disclosure agreement, due to his work with the Air National Guard. And according to at least one person interviewed by the FBI, one of the leaked documents described the status of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, including troop movements on a particular date. Teixeira was caught partly because he searched online for the word leak on his government computer, which is an absolute fucking no-no when you're being investigated for potential espionage. That search was performed on April 6th. As reporting about the leaked documents began taking place, and according to the affidavit, quote, there is reason to believe that Teixeira was searching for classified reporting regarding the U.S. intelligence community's assessment of the identity of the individual who transmitted classified national defense information. So this motherfucker had been taking information for months and like posting in the fucking Discord chat for his little dipshits, trying to impress them and whatnot. And like once that information started, was leaked to the public, like it became basically a major media scandal. So as this is breaking across media outlets across the nation, like this idiot is on his government computer searching for leaks to figure out how close the investigators were onto his tail. What What a moron.
That
What a
and
moron.
that I was trying to wrap my head around that he had gotten his security clearance like a year before at 20 years old.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that age should be a factor or whatever, but I'm just like,
Yeah, how do you get a top secret clearance? Like, that's the question.
like
what is the process
level
for
that
this?
he had? Like, how do you vet someone that's like 20? It was like they were in high school 2 years before. You know what I mean?
It's insane.
And obviously, I mean, I can't imagine that there was any like college or anything. Not that that is of the utmost importance, but still. But I'm just like, and there was another case. It was like some other 20-year-old guy who was like disseminating top secret information, and he was also 21. And it was like, what the fuck? And then these people that they just arrested, I know there's a whole backstory with the Huru and everything, but I'm just like, what the fucking...
Well, we've got a couple problems. One, obviously, we overclassify the United States government overclassifies a lot of information that it probably shouldn't. I mean, and that's one issue. And then two is like, there's at minimum 1 million people in the United States who have security clearances. Now, of course, it doesn't necessarily always go all the way up to top secret for that matter. And certainly not, sensitive compartmented information and materials. But clearly, like, this shit is not nearly as secure as it should be. But this motherfucker's facing espionage charges. I mean, he put the shit out on the internet. Like, his ass is grass. But yeah, something to look forward to, I guess. The way the Fed showed up at his spot and, dragged his ass. And hauled him off on national television. Like, that's, again, what Trump should have to look forward to given the circumstances surrounding his espionage investigation. Yeah. So another side tangent. One of the ways this information became publicly available, I'm not necessarily fully aware of the details of how this transpired, but there's an individual who runs this like pro-Russian media group off of it's not even that important. So someone took one of these documents about the Ukraine-Russia war and altered them and made them public, and that was one of the instances in which this story even gained traction. But the information that they took, they deflated the number of like troop losses for Russia and inflated the number of losses for Ukraine side of the war to make it seem as though Russia was doing better than they actually were
winning.
Yeah. So, and of course this is like clearly altered, but it's based on an actual classified document that this person procured. Teixeira, the dipshit, who was also, caught on, recorded a video making a number of anti-Semitic and racial slurs. Well, this particular altered document that became Russian disinformation, this is the thing Fox News picked up on and spread across their air, and it caught on like wildfire. And the implication being that like Ukraine is failing and somehow this guy blew the whistle on it. And we're, it's insane that like the one thing that's Russian disinformation about this op is what Fox News picked up on and spread. Like, it never ends with them. And that's why they had to pay $787 million fucking dollars. I hope Smartmatic takes them to the fucking cleaners.
I hope Smartmatic demands an apology. But
well, they took the money instead of an apology.
Well, they could always just send Susan Collins and she'll clutch her pearls for them.
Yeah, she'll tell people how she thinks Fox learned their lesson.
She's concerned.
On to Trump's version of Bannon's We Build the Wall. So again, back to Jack Smith's multiple spanning investigations involving Trump's behavior. His office sent out subpoenas over the last few weeks to Trump advisors, campaign aides, and Republican operatives and other consultants involved in the 2020 election, putting testimony from some of them into the grand jury. The fundraising prong of the investigation, it's focused on money raised during the period between November 2020, as in like election day, and the end of Trump's time in office on January 20th, 2021. And prosecutors are said to be interested in whether anyone associated with the fundraising operation violated wire fraud laws, which make it illegal to make false representations over email to swindle people out of their fucking money. Where there's a similar example here with Steve Bannon and his cohorts who are facing, criminal charges with their fraudulent fundraising scheme to build the wall along the border, where they were asking donors to send them money to build the wall, but they were lying in their email pitches. Like just, and again, like with these, political donations, like they give you plenty of room to like exaggerate and make it even clickbaity, but like you can't just straight up lie to people to solicit donations. Like you have to, if what you say in the pitch to get the money is an outright lie and you take money from these people, you could be charged with wire fraud. And that's what Bannon and his cohorts are dealing with. Also, there's a separate issue of, Trump's election defense fund scheme.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So not only are there multiple campaign issues that Trump was dealing with from 2020, there's this election defense fund.
I don't think we have time to list all of Trump's legal problems. So let's keep it to the next 5 or 6 things. Okay?
Okay, well, this is a big one, right? So you can't raise money for something that doesn't exist. Like you can't tell people we're raising money for this thing, this fund, and it's going to be spent on these for this particular purpose. And then that thing, that specific fund not exist, and then you take the money and not spend it on what you were promising the donors to spend it on. So the election defense fund, it was cited in some fundraising emails that asked for donor money to challenge the election. And Jack Smith's team is asking for any documents about whether the fund ever even existed in the first place and whether there were actual plans for a fund. So if there were no plans and the fund never actually existed, again, just a completely separate case of wire fraud. Just insane. And Trump advisors apparently told the January 6th committee, if you listen to the hearings, that references to the fund were in pitches were a marketing tactic and that no such segregated fund ever existed. So they were lying. It's basically the Fox News version of fundraising. Spread a bunch of lies, rake in a bunch of money, and consequences be damned. Supporters be damned, for that matter. I mean, just grifting off your fucking voters and supporters, like, just disgusting. I don't know if there was anything you two wanted to pitch in on that. I'm just irate with these people.
Carol, are you with us, Carol?
Uh-oh. No, I was wondering if you were with us.
Todd, you take an edible?
No.
All right. So I guess one of the last few things I wanted to talk about was just, look, Trump's, fuck Fox News, first of all. I can't say that.
I second that emotion.
Yeah, no, one of the things I wanted to talk about is, like, given that Trump was arraigned and he's facing charges in Manhattan, and he's facing all these criminal investigations, the espionage thing is like barreling down at him soon. But like, even beyond that, like these fucking, wire fraud charges that he might be facing from this fundraiser, like that thing, that might be one of the easiest to prove cases that Trump will be nailed for, because it's mostly like paperwork and how much did Trump know? And like people,
and you can follow the trail.
Yeah. So you can start with like his campaign and work your way up. Like, you do in like a mob investigation where you start like, hey, these were clear lies. All right. Well, that's a crime. Well, who's the individual most closely associated with raising those funds? You come to that person like, hey, we can charge you, or do you want to cooperate and maybe receive, a slap on the wrist? And then you just flip people and work your way up. And if, any individual can prove that Trump was aware of the scheme, if not the person who ordered the fundraising scheme, like he's fucked. But beyond that, I just wanted to talk about the quality of some of Trump's lawyers who are going to have to defend him in this case, or these various. It's insane, man. We got a former president of the United States facing like a dozen potential criminal investigations, and that's just that we know of. So we got Joe Tacopina, aka Phony Soprano. Y'all were supposed to, Sheets and Giggles. Where are the giggles?
Tacopina's a moron. Like, I can't even with him. He's a fucking total idiot.
Yeah.
Like, for him to go and try to defend Trump, and then you have the freaking videos of him in interviews from 2018 saying, "Oh, the Stormy Daniels issue is a problem."
Yeah. He basically prosecuted Trump on air, and not to mention that he might potentially get kicked off the case because he previously had what might be interpreted as an attorney-client agreement.
Privilege with Stormy.
Oh, Jesus Christ! All right, so then we have Todd Blanche. He's a former SDNY prosecutor. I think he was in. I can't remember if his specialty was. It might be RICO. I'm not entirely certain. He seems to be competent. So there's that at least. Then there's Alina Habba. She was the former New Jersey parking garage lawyer. While she's representing Trump in an espionage investigation. Now, who the fuck knows? Whatever.
Isn't traffic cop is his go-to?
Well, she's so bad at her job, right? She's the one she's the one who was representing Trump in his suit against Hillary Clinton that they got sanctioned for. Like, she literally cost him $1 billion. So that should let you know as to the quality of her legal representation. Then there's Evan Corcoran, the Cork man. He got crime fraud accepted. And he's now been forced to recuse himself from the classified documents case. So, like, congratulations, sir. You're one of the few lawyers in the history of the United States to get crime fraud accepted. It's just good job. And it's funny because a number of the lawyers in history who've been crime fraud accepted have represented Trump. So
yeah, so you're gonna have to recuse yourself on account of you're a defendant now.
Yeah. So, well, no, you know what? Corcoran corroborated. He testified before the special counsel's grand jury. So he's not necessarily a target, but a witness. But we also have Christina Bobb, who also got crime fraud accepted.
Wow, what are the odds?
I think she was the former OANN attorney or something. Trump basically hired her off of TV. So
look, okay, let's just get this straight. To be one of Trump's, to take one of these cases, you have to be a bad lawyer. Like, if you go in like believing you have a good case here, like bullshit. Like I think they would not be acting in bad faith. They have to be too stupid. Remember, I've talked about this continuum before between bad faith and ignorance. Yes. So I think the ones who are his lawyers, those are the ones who are just bad at their. They believe, they're the believers. Carol, they're there because they believe, not because they think it's a good case. And they have, if they didn't have the legal and just regular clarity to come to that conclusion, like, they're gonna not be good lawyers because they have terrible reasoning skills.
I think there's a few buckets of lawyers that have represented Trump, right? So there's fixers,
but recently, because his cases, he's become increasingly incompetent, and his activities have become increasingly criminal, and fewer and fewer people will represent them. Also, he doesn't pay. That's it. Yes, that's another issue. Right. So that's probably part of the reason why for many reasons, no one good is representing him. No, but nor will they. A couple of buckets of lawyers. There's like the grifter lawyer. They're like, oh, they see an easy mark, free paycheck, right? Even though, he doesn't necessarily pay. Although that's less of an issue now because he's paying them out of his campaign funds, even though the money he raises also under criminal investigation to make matters more complicated.
And also you have competent lawyers who are willing to represent him, but they're charging a massive upfront fee. And then for, I guess, the most part, the leftovers, Carol, you're familiar with The Simpsons, correct?
Yes.
The rest of his legal team consists of the Lionel Hutzes of the world.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So,
but I don't know. Somehow they just all seem worse than Lionel Hutz.
yeah. Well, for instance, there's Michael Cohen, who was Trump's former lawyer, who's been disbarred and convicted of crimes that Trump was party to. That Trump is also suing for $500 million. So that would, no offense to you, sir, Michael Cohen, but I don't know necessarily about the quality of your legal representation, given that you've been to prison.
Well, again, I mean, when you're willing to do things that are illegal, either he knew they were illegal and he was, had illegal intent.
Yeah, this
or
is the fixer
he's
bucket.
Too stupid and he's on the bad faith side. But
there's, Jenna Ellis, Trump's personal lawyer, who also worked on his campaign.
She's a believer.
True believer. Yeah. She's been.
Now her, yeah, I believe, because she's that's one weird fucking duck, man.
Yeah.
She is strange as hell.
Well, she's been sanctioned. So, again.
Yeah.
Were
we not playing a game where I said, okay.
No, that was the last
We're
episode.
Also
Carol.
playing a game.
That was the last episode.
We are now, babe.
Rudy Giuliani. Well, he famous.
Maybe he used to have it, but
once upon a time, yeah, back when he worked in, SDNY. He's now
slide over to the good faith ignorance. No, bad faith and ignorance. He's both.
Well, and the Lionel Hutz department, famously for having shit his own face on national TV, and holding a press conference at the Courtyard. Nah, not the Courtyard Marriott.
The Supreme Courtyard Marriott.
Yeah, that's.
Come on, it was the Four Seasons total dildo landscaping.
Yeah, Four Seasons total landscaping across from the dildo shop. That was incredible. Like, how did you manage to pull that one off? I mean,
no, that was on purpose. Like, they're giving it to us for free. I can't believe it. They were like, "Can we all come down?" Yeah, we're open.
And then he got caught on Borat jerking off to his assistant. That was, man, Rudy, good times. Then of course there's Sidney Powell. Sidney Powell, the Kraken head. She's been sanctioned.
The Kraken head.
Yep, and she almost single-handedly cost Fox $1 billion, $787 million to be exact.
She's on the stupid side. She believes it all.
True believer / Lionel Hutz.
That's true. She is dumb.
You had Jim Trusty and Chris Kice. They've yet to be sanctioned, and Chris Kice was smart enough to get his money up front. That was a pretty good move.
Yeah, he did.
I haven't heard much from him lately. That must mean things are going poorly. Then there was John Eastman. He's one of the individuals who clerked for Clarence Thomas, who's implicated Jenny Thomas in potential fraudulent elector crimes. I mean, that's a whole fucking investigation we don't talk about anymore. That's how many criminal investigations Trevor's under. We don't even talk about them all. We just like, oh yeah, that's right. I forgot that other criminal. And then of course there's Jeffrey Clark, who had his house raided while he was outside in his underwear. So that was fun.
Oh, I remember that. He was standing out.
He was one of the dudes that like the real
Whoa.
officials at DOJ was like, we'll call you when there's an oil spill. That guy.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I got distracted by discovering the functionality of Zoom. I had my hand up looking at something and the hand went up and it has like AI raised hand technology.
Okay. Well,
but yeah, the lawyers are bad.
Yeah.
Bad lawyers.
Yeah. Look, I'm glad
Speaking of bad lawyers, back to Carol.
I'm I'm just glad Bragg broke the seal on charging Trump, because like I would like to see what defenses these terrible fucking lawyers that are working for Trump present at a trial, because I feel like they could get Trump, 50 years at a trial over a traffic ticket.